martial arts in Blue Creek, Colorado, Trevor Massey. Special
our 13th fight of the evening. It's hard to say that. It's amazing. Is brought to you by none other than Dynamic Mortgage Company. Dynamic Mortgage Company is a sponsor of the lineup fight card, and they are distributed here throughout the event. So check out Dynamic Mortgage for all your purchase and refinance needs.
Black Trunks gives us Trevor Massey. White Trunks gives us Justin Gonzales. Mr. Massey representing Ludwig Martial Arts, and Mr. Gonzales represents Top Notch MMA and Trials MMA. Fighting out of Greeley. This 145-pound pro fight gives 3 5-minute rounds. And this is a bit of a telling fight for both these fighters, Ron.
Yeah, oh yes it is. It's for us, JR, it's hard to be unbiased when we have fighters like this that come out of such great camps, number one, but fighters that we've seen put on just such dazzling performances through the years. And this is exactly one of those matchups. So as soon as this fight was announced, I think everybody in the stadium wanted to see this fight.
I agree, and nice body lock takedown there by Gonzales. Timed the punch well, got underneath it, put it on the ground, and Massey trying to put his submission game into effect here pretty early, but Gonzales is a supremely strong wrestler.
Without a question. I mean, the pedigree that comes out of Top Notch and Trials up there in Northern Colorado for wrestling and just downright toughness is unbelievable. And then, in the same sentence, you don't say the word toughness without mentioning Trevor Massey, one of the guys that everybody loves to watch fight.
And Massey on the receiving end of some ground and pound. Momentarily was able to create some distance, but a nice punch pass there affected by J-Train Gonzales, and he's into half mount now. Let's see if he elects to try to improve his position, pull that right leg through, if he's just going to ground and pound from here. And in the pro division, this, I think, only his second pro fight. He's pretty happy to be able to put those elbows to use.
He is, and he's he's actually able to really develop a new component for his game now that he never had before, that he always wanted to use when we would watch him fight.
Not only that, but the knees while standing as well.
Yeah. And how about a shout out to his younger brother, Vinny Headlock Gonzales, doing a masterful job here in our halftime recap show today. Outstanding journalism work from young Vinny Headlock Gonzales. Thank you so much for contributing. We look forward to more.
Pleasure to listen to his work, and his brother Justin going to work on top now. And Massey doing a good job keeping himself safe. As many strikes as have been thrown, there's only been maybe 2 or 3 that had real significant power that got through. When we saw this position a moment ago, Massey was able to create some space, push Gonzales back. This time Gonzales keeps those hips in tight, doesn't allow that to happen.
And again, we always talk about it. Kudos to the fighters that can stay calm and relaxed when they're in the bottom position, being, pounded really on top from fighters like J-Train Gonzales here, but Massey doing a nice job of staying calm in there.
Double forearm block by Massey, trying to keep himself safe. You talk about it all the time when you're standing, you roll with the punches, you go side to side. Massey was doing that off of his back. He knew where the punch was coming from, wasn't going to evade it completely, but he still rolled and took away a lot of the power of those strikes.
Yep, exactly right. And there, I think, is one of the second elbows that we've seen from Justin J-Train Gonzales' professional career. I'm sure many more to come.
And Massey doing a good job keeping himself fairly safe, but just really not an answer for the positional control of Gonzales. Rights and lefts.
Some good up kicks right there from Trevor Massey, too.
There was, and almost able to get his feet underneath him and come back to standing, but one more time, hip pressure shown by Gonzales, able to jam Massey into the cage now. That's going to shut down some of his mobility. So far, we haven't seen Gonzales seem to have any interest in looking for a submission. He just wants to grind this out and keep striking away for the victory.
And obviously a very, very good first round for Justin J-Train Gonzales here. Curious to see how Trevor Massey responds in the second round. Hard shots, though, being landed from Gonzales.
And I was going to say, momentarily, Gonzales is starting to lose his base, was getting a little bit taken off balance, but he adjusted nicely. There's the 10-second clacker. I think we're going to see round 2.
I think so, too, JR.
And for the pounding that Massey endured, he comes up off the stool looking surprisingly fresh.
That guy is always in incredible shape. Incredible shape.
And Gonzales had his head wrapped up for a second. On the way to the ground, was already looking to skip over to the side. Massey recognized it, let go of the head control in favor of trying to get his legs into play, and Gonzales ends up in half mount again. Now full guard for Massey, but he's jammed up against the cage, and Gonzales just has such heavy top pressure.
And, that pedigree, that wrestling pedigree is unbelievable, He's just one of those guys that really positions himself so well from that top mount, and then on top of that, he's really able to pick his shots as he's landing.
And good job using his punches to set up a knee slicer guard pass there and wrapping up the head, trying to keep Massey from getting onto a hip. And we have a lot of Gonzales fans behind us, and they're calling out for the elbow strike. So, knowledgeable fight crowd here in Colorado this evening.
As always.
As always. Massey tried to get his hips underneath him. Gonzales just picked him up and jammed him into the cage.
Massey's going to have to find a way not only to get up off the cage here, or off the ground, but he's also going to have to figure out a way to stay in the center of the cage tonight, because I think that the closer that he is towards the cage, the easier that takedown attempt will be for J-Train Gonzales, and obviously he'll get more of this type of result if he can stay off if he can avoid staying off the cage.
And Gonzales, with his timing, hasn't had to, but we've seen it before. He's willing to take a punch to get in to take the takedown.
Yeah.
And the fact that he can just drive his opponent 3/4 of the way across the cage in order to set up the takedown, that's a tough night for anybody.
Yeah, that sure is.
Massey momentarily was just covering up. I was going to say not trying to do anything about controlling the posture of the arms of Gonzales, kind of gets his wits back about him now, working on that posture. See him looping around the back of the neck of Gonzales, and that keeps Gonzales from being able to posture up and get a lot of power into his strikes. And here's
an interesting stand-up.
Yeah, stand-up that favors Massey. Crushing leg kick by Gonzales.
Heavy leg kick. Wow. Another one. And I think Trevor Massey's kind of guarding himself from another takedown here.
Well, he has to, absolutely. Yeah. And that makes it very difficult to commit fully on your striking. And Gonzales, he can commit on his striking because either standing or on the ground.
But that iron chin of Trevor Massey is just something else. We've seen him in fights that look like rock'em sock'em robots in the middle of the cage, and he walks away smiling.
And Massey switched his stance. I'm not sure if that's so that he could get some power off of the back leg, come into the body of Gonzales because of the stance that he was using, or if it's because that lead leg when he's left side forward is starting to take some abuse from the leg kicks.
I'll tell you right now, I don't think I've ever seen Justin Gonzales in this good of shape.
And I don't think I've ever seen him strike with this kind of commitment.
Yeah.
His strikes were always out there and working to be able to touch his opponent, but he's just going in looking to crush people.
Yeah, he absolutely is, yeah. No question about it. Very different Justin Gonzales today.
Massey, good job with his footwork here. Gonzales trying to entwine a leg. Massey not letting it happen, and interestingly enough, Gonzales lets him off the cage. And I think I might see a big gash opened up above the right eye of Massey. And yep, he took a look at the referee, and I think we got skin hanging down into his eyelid now maybe.
And I think we just have some blood in his eye, but he's definitely dabbing at it with his hands.
And we can see Oscar Martinez in a close look at it, and a beautifully timed head kick. But we talked about Gonzales being willing to take a shot in order to get a takedown. He didn't want that, but he took it and put it down onto the mat. 10-second clacker sounded, and the corner of Massey is going to have some work to do because that cut's starting to leak.
And same with Gonzales' corner. Wow.
Oh, man. And Doc Alex, whoa, they're about to come to the center with somebody still in the cage there. And Doc Alex is going to be stitching up some folks after this fight. My goodness. And both of them just give each other a smile. And Massey immediately tries to go upstairs again, and Gonzales able to keep that right hand up in place, kept himself safe from that head kick, and these guys looking to put it on each other here in the third.
Man, we've got a fight now. Oh, my goodness. Everybody's woken up now.
Good timing on the clinch by Gonzales. Backpedaled out of the danger zone from the strikes and then changed direction, came back, scored the takedown. And Massey, best hustle for him off the ground.
Just as tough as they come.
See if the knees start coming up. Oh, and a nice knee followed by a right hand on the break. And great work by both corners. These guys went into their corners just leaking like fountains, and they seem to be closed up really nicely now.
Yeah. These guys are getting after it.
Sort of the proverbial shark with blood in the water. It kind of woke both these guys up. Not that they weren't going at it before, but a lot more intensity coming on here in the third.
And for Trevor Massey, he's just got to get some of that separation so that he can exercise some of those head kicks that he's found success with. But, Justin Gonzales doing just a masterful job of keeping such a heavy top game and just brutal power today. I mean, Really, this is the best Justin J. Train Gonzales we've ever seen.
And this is exactly what he has to do here in the third. Stay busy enough on the ground that the referee doesn't bring him back up. Continue scoring points with the judges. Working that ground and pound, not letting Massey bring it back to the feet where he had some success late in round 2.
Yeah, 100%.
Massey doing a good job. Couple times he's been able to pivot. Tried to cage walk, but Gonzales just wise to it.
Just some unbelievable toughness being shown by both these guys. I had a chance to speak with Randy Rowland, who fought Trevor Massey, and Randy Rowland commented and said, my goodness, that guy is just as tough as they come. I hit him with everything I had, and he just still kept coming.
And big welt coming up over outside of the right eye of Massey now. So these guys are going to be wearing the marks of this fight for some days to come.
Oh, yeah, no question about it.
Massey, closest he's coming this round to being able to get back up, has a knee underneath him. And almost like Gonzales suckered him into it so that he could improve his position, and improve his position he does. Going to work with the heavy ground and pound. Good job with the back roll trying to get an escape, but Gonzales rides in and sneaks under for the choke. There it is. Congratulations, Justin J. Train Gonzales. Trials MMA and Top Notch MMA goes home with the victory.
Talk to me about that fight just a little bit. It looked like you wanted to keep it on the ground for the most part, but you're all right being on your feet with him too.
Yeah, his stand-up's really tough. We knew that, but we didn't come in here to take it down. We came in here to make it win, and I had to take it where I had to take it.
Got it done. You're one of the most talked about guys, not just in this part of the fight, yeah, I heard that name Quakes. Oh, yeah. What do you have to say about that?
Get in line, buddy.
Thanks some people first.
I want to say thank you to my coaches. Top Notch, I love you guys very much. Thank you. Trials, big shout out. Love you guys. Thank you. All my sponsors. Wayne's. You want some good barbecue? Hit up Wayne's. Team Taylor, Coach, I think you're out there somewhere. I love you. Thank you. We're going to have an after party Sunday at the Footsie Corners. Spark Labs, thank you very much.